The 2023 election campaigns will begin, and political parties are already making final touches on their campaign plans. Beyond what is being said and done are the realities of fixing the many challenges confronting this nation. Already, there are reasons for candidates and parties to speak up based on the state of the race. For example, today, Senator Baba-Ahmed, the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, came out in a press conference to speak up on some social media account attributed to him. He has since denied some of those comments. He says for several years, he's not even been on Facebook or any of these social media handles or website or sites. Tonight, we shall be speaking with Mr. Peter Obi's running mate, Senator Baba-Ahmed, who joins me live here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Senator Baba-Ahmed, for joining us tonight.
My pleasure, sir.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Let's begin the conversation first and foremost. You came out, you looked worried. I read a statement. There are a lot of things attributed to you, your comment on religion, your comment on ethnicity, and which happened to be fake according to the statement you released today. What exactly is going on? So, are you on social media or not?
To the extent you define social media, WhatsApp is social media. Very, very active on it. But right from inception, when I tried to join Facebook and Twitter, someone had gotten there before me. We're talking of about 10 years ago.
In your name?
In my name. And I knew how unsafe it was to have two accounts. So since then, I have been battling to have the other name removed. Up till now, from when the news started going around that I may be joining Labour Party in this exalted capacity, more and more continued surfacing. And no approval, no knowledge of mine. So it is worrisome. What is even more worrisome is the extent to how quickly fake news, distorted news, without facts, without evidence, is hosted in those. It's very uncharacteristic of me, the messages exchanged in those accounts. And that is why I went the extra mile to thank the discerning online community who would quickly come back to me to say, by WhatsApp, for example, that we really believe this isn't you. Definitely it's not me. Can you do something about it? On daily basis, there is one news item or another. Now, these news items are increasingly becoming more sensitive. And then I consulted widely and concluded that the best thing was release this press conference, use the material to get across to the owners of those platforms to make them realize how serious this matter can be. Now, playing politics, as we know, has very loosely defined borders. It is very easy for those, who are in need of catching up grounds lost to engage in unethical acts. And what is more unethical than impersonation? The laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have very strict sanctions on impersonation. And what I call this is pure impersonation. It's a criminal offense, except that you really cannot just identify who it is because it is online.
So are you taking these up legally or beyond your approach? I mean, having to consult with the owners of these micro blogging sites?
You can only engage in it legally if you are able to identify who those elements were, those individuals that have opened and are operating the accounts. In the absence of that, there's nothing one can do. And that is the danger in the social media space. Extremely dangerous.
I mean, you're aware of just how strong the supporters, the Obidati movement, the obedient movement are on social media. Are you aware?
I am gladly aware. And I'm humbled by that fact.
Are you worried that this election might be shaped largely by the force on social media? It might be issues might be directed and guided or also pushed by social media. Are you also aware about that?
In fact, that underscores why I took it so seriously the way I did.
So with this concern that you have, this impersonation, and some of those who have cloned your name and your identity online, are you worried that that may be used, that might have some effect on your campaign?
Well, that is why I'm trying to stop it from getting there. It's not only the campaign they're targeting. If you read the full contents in between the line, you see, we are genuinely of the opinion that some opponents to us underestimated what you just said now, how powerful Labour has come to be and how powerful it is going to be by election day. The so-called runoff they're talking about may not even happen.
They're already talking about a runoff.
It may not even happen, I tell you.
You think that you might win on the first ballot? Is that the thinking of the Labour Party?
Absolutely.
You think you have what it takes to be able to do that?
I think by the special grace of God Almighty, we have that. It might not even get to a runoff.
What do you see in your permutations? You're looking at the crystal ball. How do you see this election coming out? What figure do you think your party might be able to pull?
I see, please allow me not to call the names of the parties. The one in Kano, just remaining there, because in Kaduna, it is almost gone completely ever since I appeared. That party no longer exists in Kaduna from when I declared for Labour Party. It's not even going into Jigawa, Katsina. It never even got the chance to get in there. The other party coming from the party of the day is running down by the day. It's running itself down by the day. Again, I don't want to go into those issues at all. Our lives are depreciating by the day, and so will their votes fall as Nigerian lives, the quality of lives fall. The other party has really not proven itself capable of wresting power away. And it done itself in from the conduct of its primaries. And that leaves only one party standing and standing strong. Again, that is why we see the social media attacks, the unethical practice being motivated purely for political gains.
Now, if you look at what is happening, at the end of the day, you have a huge support base, and there are even criticism that your party's support base is limited to the social media. There are questions as to the structure of your party and the question mark on whether or not you even get the kind of funding to be able to run the campaign and perhaps be able to pull a win off in this election.
Excellent question. Let me take it one after the other. You spoke about being on the social media. Do I have your attention?
Absolutely. Please
yes. You spoke about being on the social media. It is being read wrongly. What is happening is that more of our supporters are those who are elitist, in a sense. And even those whom we think are rural, in a sense, are increasingly inclined to go the Labour way. We're making them more aware and more literate. And to be with us, they make the extra efforts to become socially literate, socially aware, and are beginning, even for the sake of Labour Party, participate in the social media space. They are beginning to realize how easy it is. For someone like me that has lived all my life in the education world, this is more than exciting, because I get my excitement from seeing people learning and moving up the education ladder, and that is what Labour is doing at the moment. We are not limited. It is that the increasing number of those who are joining Labour now are those that have this general modern attitude. They're more like all the young population are in Labour. 99.5 possibly of the young voting age are Labour. These are the people who use social media. Now, go to the motor parks, go to the markets. Those are not social media platforms. Go to shopping malls, even security men who open gates. When they see Labour, they become excited. Go to the airports. You might say they're only the privileged to travel by air. No. Those who work in the airports, everywhere you go, from particularly the motor parks, everywhere you interact, it is Labour, it is Labour. We are not limited. Then the other one you spoke about, structure. The structure we have is unique. Labour is not about very elaborate party organ for now that is determining the structure of our society. Labour is about the ordinary politicians being able to make their voices heard. And this difference has to be realized. It is not where you'll have one huge figure, a former minister or, being the national chairman of a party, and the party secretary is another huge, powerful figure who are able to use enormous resources to ensure that they have choice local government offices. Labour is cost conscious. And that is why we want to avoid wasting Nigeria's resources on frivolities. We know what frivolities are, and we know where the sweat of our loyal supporters should go. That is why we choose to have the kind of structure we have now. In fact, no other party has the kind of structure that Labour has.
And what kind of structure is that?
That is people-oriented structure.
I mean,
that is actually stratified structure.
Can that structure win election?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're asking, then you're asking me to go into history, which you don't have enough time.
No, there's no enough time. But I know you've been in the House of Reps, you've been a senator before. You understand what winning an election is.
Thank you.
Especially at the national level. And
I also know what paper tigers are. Because the moment the trillions are not in APC, it collapses. By my calculations, the winner of 2023 elections would have to spend, from when they began, even before the primaries, to the conclusion of the Supreme Court, if it gets there, modestly, I think 3.8 trillion naira. This is what Labour will never allow to happen. A Peter Obi will never, ever allow this. Neither will someone like me. And look, it is for the sake of Nigeria we're doing this. When eventually 3.8 trillion, and it's not 6.5 like some people put, it's 3.8. I'm not saying I'm absolutely right. This is the calculation.
Of anybody that will win the election?
No, I mean from those two parties that historically have run and...
That sort of amount has been spent on elections?
Exactly.
For campaigns?
Not for all the way to the end of Supreme Court.
And you think that this is unnecessary?
This is very unnecessary. And this is, I told you, this is what Labour will never do. When you have 3.8 trillion naira spent, it tells me that in a 4-year period, we will be lucky to have 6 to 9 months of capital projects in Nigeria, and that includes the security apparatus, buying capital equipment, training and other capital projects for our security networks.
All right.
And that tells you how dangerous. Then when you come to finances, okay, we are very careful, and we raise our funds in very clean, legitimate manners.
Have you started raising the funds?
We have not.
How do you hope to raise funds?
Decent contribution from supporters, friends, and family, strictly according to INEC guidelines.
All right.
Strictly.
Let me take you to, because I have a list of issues that I'd like you to answer, because tonight, a lot of Nigerians who are watching do not even care about the name or the party. I guess a lot of Nigerians are just tired about the state of the security, insecurity, the economy. They just want something that works. I don't know if I'm speaking your mind, an average Nigerian, wherever you may be watching tonight, but I think I do. People just want a better life, a good life, a secure environment where they can live. So first and foremost, if you can, in 30 seconds, tell us, you've seen the danger in the social media and how it's being used. I mean, you are, you're a victim now. Would you be doing anything about it? What exactly would you be doing should you win the election?
Well, we will promote reaching out to the creators of these technologies to introduce proper regulation around it. That's the only way to go about it.
Or censors?
Well, not censor. Simply regulate the opening. You can't regulate social media, but who is operating what should be checked.
Let me go to some of the real issues here. And it's about the issue of capacity. Whether or not the Peter Dati ticket has a capacity to lead Nigeria. In fact, that has been questioned recently. Governor of Delta State and the vice presidential candidate of the PDP has said Peter Obi does not have the experience to lead Nigeria. How would you react to that?
That is absolutely untrue. In fact, I beg you to show me anyone who has had more experience in leadership in 2023 context. And by that context, I mean the candidates that we have now, the 4 leading candidates. I fail to see anyone that even comes close to His Excellency, Governor Peter Obi. The world is now in a stage where we need private sector experience. And among all of them, no one has as much private sector business sense, prudence, frugality, ability to manage persons, communities, interest groups. None of the other 3 has as much. I have reached a stage now where I would just overlook and avoid calling names of any other candidate, because Nigerians are already seeing and speaking. The Senate is already in impeachment mode. My case has been made. And if others are speaking what I used to say 4 years ago, I think I can move up to more important things. And that comment is a very unfair comment. And I would like to think that very soon, the maker of that comment will have to retract, because it shows he has no idea about what capacity is. Reading through His Excellency Governor Peter Obi's resume, what he did in the banking industry, even before then, the businesses that he ran. Come on. And then when he became a governor from private sector, and the success that he marked as a governor for 8 years, again, how many of those who claim to have had experience before becoming governors became governors and regretted afterwards? Not Peter Obi. He is a very happy free citizen, roaming all over the world, and today contesting. So the gentleman, my colleague, apparently we were in the Senate together. We went to Senate together with Governor Okowa. We used to sit not too far away. I have lots of respect for him, but I least expect him to misread what capacity is.
For discerning
when
Nigerians,
you speak of capacity, you're talking of people like Peter Obi, and with all modesty, of course, my humble self.
For discerning Nigerians and those who understand how the private sector and public sector works, we know that it's not enough to have a private sector experience or a proper handling of the private business. Handling public sector is a totally different kettle of fish.
Let me interrupt.
I like to land on this question to say Nigeria is like almost a cracking egg, which needs a careful handling. And that's perhaps the reason why a lot of Nigerians will be making a very discerning choice this time around, more than ever in the history of our politics in Nigeria. And they are watching to ask those who have the capacity. So the question of capacity, beyond what you have said tonight, a lot of Nigerians who are watching you, they want to be convinced that both of you have the capacity for you to lead a Nigeria that is strained, its unity is strained, and economy is in trouble, and security is perhaps at its lowest ebb.
I will begin answering your question with another question. Doesn't Peter Obi have that? He does have it, richly so. He was a governor for 8 years. He brought a state that was ranking so low in education all the way to the tops. And all the other success indices that time does not allow me to permit here. I also have public sector experience. At least I have been involved in 5 different federal budgets of Nigeria. At least that is. 4 years in the House, just under 1 year in the Senate. I think that is commendable. And look, the important legislations that I was able to push through. Right now, if you still speak about due process, okay? You're speaking about my activities on procurement. Just 4 years in the parliament, I have done what has lasted getting to 24 years now. Legislations like getting Nigeria to join the Islamic Development Bank. I did it. Nigeria, my motion got Nigeria to pay the subscription in which Nigeria then became a member of the IDB. In the Senate, what I did about the inadequacy of funds, compensation funds for the Niger Delta, oil spill over 50 years. This is public sector experience. The wrong medical diagnosis that cuts across the whole of Nigeria and care for our people. This is public sector experience. In fact, none of the, look, it is not the longevity that matters. What have you done in those years? I have shied away from calling anybody and saying what they've done, because you will not be happy and I will be disappointed at how poorly what we call capacity is not capacity. Take a good example of fighting corruption. We made a mistake. The whole Nigeria made a mistake. Even though people like me were saying, guys, be careful, be careful. We know this man. We know this gentleman. Arresting people and bullying them and abusing the laws of the land is not fighting corruption. That is not experience. That is not capacity.
You're going to fight corruption differently should you win this election?
Yes. We're not going to, and let me tell you, we are focused on moving forward. Again, I have reached a level in which I now have to attach myself, reform everything to the dictates of the party and my principal, His Excellency, Governor Peter Obi. We are looking forward, and as we say, you don't move forward scratching your feet.
All right.
However, corruption will be addressed, first of all, by ensuring your government is not doing the same things that has happened before. His Excellency said that the moment your attitude shows that neither you nor the people around you are adding anything for themselves, The moment you achieve that, and it spreads all the way down, that His Excellency, Mr. President, is serious, and his immediate family and extended family and friends and cronies are not touching public funds. Nobody is crazy to touch public funds, because you then have justification to deal with anybody. It is news, it is no news rather, that, you know, the AGF of Nigeria, how could that happen? How could that happen? They lost the respect and the fear they had for their principal. This will not happen in an Obi Baba-Ahmed government. It cannot happen. And this is, so fighting corruption starts with the individuals. We are not looking for money in government. We are looking for a government in money.
All right.
Let me repeat. Yeah. Let me repeat.
Okay.
We are not looking for money in government. We are looking to see a government in money.
All right, we'll take a breather. I have two questions for you, which are very paramount for me and perhaps for my viewers. Is insecurity is going to be fixed, and this education issue, the ASU strike, how is it going to be fixed? A lot of Nigerians are very interested in that. We'll come in our concluding moment with you after this break. We take a break, everyone, and when we return, yet another senator will be joining me after I've concluded my conversation with Senator Baba-Ahmed, and it's going to be Senator Adamu Bukachua. The state of the APC, what is happening in the Senate, and the way forward for Nigeria. Join us again, everyone. For staying with us, Senator Baba-Ahmed, the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, has been speaking with us. Our concluding moment with him, straight on security.
Yes.
In your own state of Kaduna, in the northwestern region of the country, bandits have taken over most of your forests. Those are some of the reports that we're getting. And in fact, towards the small, going south, further south, are the threat of these bandits and terrorists. We even visited Kuje Correctional Facility. Tonight, does the Peter Obi Dati ticket have a solution to insecurity in Nigeria?
We do.
And what is that?
My answer is that we do. Just take it. We do.
What solution do you have?
We do have the solution.
How would you fix it? Nigerians want to know.
We do have the solution. My good friend, please take it as that.
You don't want to divulge?
Better not to.
I mean, anyone that wins this election will have to tell Nigerians how they hope.
See, I'd like to give you answers, but let me ask you this, which will be my answer. What is it in the past that Nigerians have not heard? What did APC not tell you? I don't want to call the name. What did Buhari not say about restoring security? What allegations, unsubstantiated, did they not make? Are Nigerians not tired of hearing people talk and do the opposite? His Excellency Peter Obi and I are completely different mix of these kind of politicians. And that is why we're seeking that opportunity. When we get that opportunity, we will deliver. Talking, the importance of talking has been destroyed by the failure of this administration. I feel ashamed to talk because someone like, I don't want to say the name, someone like Buhari has talked and he failed. So I don't want to talk. I want to do, I want to act. And we have the solution. By God's grace, Nigeria will be safe and secure. I'm not talking because people talked carelessly, recklessly, didn't even know how to go about it. I'm not going to be one of those. Neither will Peter Obi be one of those.
But we anchor on the issue of education.
Yes.
It's disastrous that the state of education is here, and the question is, because, Senator, some of us will query and question. We will put question marks on the promises people are making this time around. We want to know just how people want to get it done, because people will make promises in this campaign. But Nigerians are now more discerning. They want to know just how it's going to be done. ASU strike upon ASU strike. 170 days since lecturers are off the classrooms in public universities. What are we to expect from the Peter Obi Dati ticket?
The best of negotiations, realistic, practical, workable negotiations that are centered directly on the welfare of our lecturers. That is what to expect. Then we will immediately show the whole world, Nigerian public and the affected university communities, a clear, workable plan that will make them resume immediately, and we will also extract commitments that for the life of our administration, God willing, they are committed in as much as we are committed to zero strikes for the whole of that. So we will try as much as extract that commitment for a 4-year period. The monies for your welfare, all your grievances. Here is a workable plan that we start from day one. That is it. Remember, labor by its nature is built on and around welfare of everyone, even beyond the classrooms. His Excellency Peter Obi is built on and around careful management of funds. Then me, outside my world of education, I'm about procurement. The money we save from procurement is what we'll use to improve the welfare of labor, of all working class all across Nigeria, particularly teachers and security agencies.
All right.
A good example I want to give you is that in a typical ministry, if you cut down the profit markup on their contracts by 20%, you can double the salaries of all those workers from top to bottom in that ministry. We are not holding back our hands because we are of the opinion that the more we pay the police and all security agencies, the more we pay ourselves. The more we pay lecturers, the more we pay ourselves. It is money coming back. We want to buy back the loyalty of our security. We want to give back some measure of humanity into them.
All right. Senator Baba-Ahmed, we have to anchor here.
Yes.
But indeed, there will be time because personally, I'm interested in those who will give real solutions to education, to security,
You've got it.
to health.
You've got it.
And how our reputation as a country is being perceived, because that will bring money too, if your reputation is right in the eyes of the world.
Your last point, there's no quick fix to it. You fix the security, fix education and economy, the image will automatically prop up. Don't try to take a shortcut like it has happened before to say that Nigeria has been fixed by merely changing the government. No. We are defining our success as not being sworn in. The moment we are sworn in is not the beginning of our success. When the killings stop is when we begin to succeed. When the naira stops falling is when we begin to succeed. When we extract that commitment that you asked me about, and as you agree that in 4 years, in principle, they will not go on strike, that is the beginning of our success. Personally, I can tell you that His Excellency Peter Obi and ourselves, we are not looking at the date of swearing in. We are looking at the dates, 3.5, 4 years, when Nigerians and look back, we say, yes, our lives are better. That is when we begin to succeed. In the university, God Almighty allowed me to establish. When they asked me in 2010, are you now fulfilled after it was commissioned? I said, no, I can't be fulfilled until the day that I see a graduate of law from this university being a senior advocate, win a court case for me. That's when I'll begin to be fulfilled. We have a very good understanding of what success is. There is no shortcut to it.
All right. We need to anchor on that. Thank you so much indeed, Senator Baba-Ahmed, the Vice Presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Thank you so much indeed. For this is probably going to be one of the very many of engagements on the solutions of this country. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.